What do I expect in season 2012? An improved, consistent Essendon Football Club.
My expectations for 2012 for the Bombers to become even more ruthless, even more competitive.
We're going to create an elite environment for our players to be the best they can be, continually improve and make sure the Essendon Football Club is feared once again.
What do I expect in 2012? A premiership, of course.
Come inside the Hangar.
The Bombers' debut year under James Hird brought an elimination final appearance against old enemy Carlton and a 62-point humiliation. The result, a powerful reminder of what Essendon has to do to reach its end goal.
We have improvement here to here. Now you see how far you have to go to get to there.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us older, better, faster, stronger.
Pre-season plans built around strength and conditioning began with a gruelling 2-day camp on the Gold Coast.
So we're doing the strongman comp. We've got about 6 activities that we need to get on the circuit. Lifting big tyres, wheelbarrows. It's just painful stuff going to your threshold. The lifting those tyres are pretty heavy, but the wheelbarrows, we flew through them, me and Cav, so it was good. Yeah, he's a strong fella, as you can see. He's full of muscle and bulk, just like when I got here. So yeah, it's good just showing the ropes, and he's getting worked over pretty hard, which is good.
We're just doing a bit of grappling and sort of technique tackling work. So as you might have seen, we're a few blokes getting taken to the ground. It's just trying to get us ready for the season and be a competitive, ferocious tackling team.
It's been pretty full-on weight session, but plenty of the boys have already put on a couple of kilos, but I suppose Jakey Malcolm's filling out a bit. Travis Collier's come back massive. Yeah, and just I suppose general everyone's put on a few kilos, so looking good.
Last one. Come on. 4, 3, 2, 1. Push.
It's been really good. It's good to get away with the guys and I guess spend a bit more time on a more social level and get to talk about things other than training and sport and footy, so it's been good.
James Hird is our very first guest on the Hangar for 2012. Now, that looked very tough. Can a pre-season be too tough?
I certainly hope not, Sarah, because our boys have worked very hard this pre-season to get bigger and stronger, and we've asked a lot from them, and they've certainly delivered it since we lost that elimination final against Carlton. The
focus on getting the boys bigger and stronger and bulkier, why has that been for the summer?
Yeah, well, as I said, after that elimination final, we looked at our game style and looked at a lot of vision of the way we played, and we took a fair bit of time to come to the conclusion that we think we had a lot of things right with the way we played. Obviously, we want to adjust some things, and talking to the players, they felt that physically they were able to compete for probably 2.5 quarters, but after that they really struggled. So we sat down with our new strength and high performance coach and strength and conditioning coaches, and they talked us through why we should get bigger, what effects it will have both on and off the field, and around stoppages, our ability to spread around stoppages. And it was decided that we needed to get bigger to compete with the best teams in the competition. Well,
we saw a little bit of a glimpse of what it's like to lose a final in the opener. We're going to now have a bit more of a listen to your address post-match to the boys after that loss to Carlton.
Okay.
Don't be embarrassed by your performance. I'll be disappointed in your performance. I'm disappointed in what you served up today. What you served up today, to me, it's not just about today. It's not about not wanting to do well, because I know everyone in this room, put your hand up, right? Everyone in this room wants to play well, is that right? You wanted to play well, you wanted to win, you wanted to try hard. But what we have at this club is we have improvement from here to here. Now you see how far you have to go to get to there, which is the top.
What do you think when you watch that again now?
Oh, it's pretty embarrassing, really. But look, it was a pretty emotional time. I think the full footage there was about 17 and a half minutes of me ranting and raving, and that's probably the nice part of it, and the less colourful language in it. But look, everyone at the Essendon Football Club was disappointed in the way our year finished. Excited by a lot of things that happened during the year, our improvement in 2011, but that disappointment was pretty evident, obviously, to myself and the players. But it was a motivating factor for this pre-season, and the season hasn't started yet. But we're confident that we have improved, and that season 2012 will be another step again from 2011.
How hard is it to compose yourself and make sure that the message you give has really significant meaning?
I suppose that's the challenge as a coach. I mean, everyone's emotional. It's an emotional game, and it should be emotional because it needs to mean something and work hard. And it's not just me that was disappointed. I mean, there's the players who are always disappointed. There's the support staff. There's other coaches and the supporters and the members who are rightfully disappointed. But in my job and in the other coach's job, it's not about being emotional. It's about being very hard and very cold about the facts and getting that across to the players. And sometimes you do it well and sometimes you don't.
Is that address more important than a lot of the other things that you do when you talk to them countless times during the year, just because of how they're feeling in that moment?
No, I don't think so. I think that probably the important address, is not necessarily for the last game of the year, but for the other games is the way you talk to the players during the week. Because I think that after the game you can be emotional. A lot of the players aren't actually listening, whether it's they're so excited about their performance or disappointed by their performance. So I think often that after-game address gets overrated, but it is important just to go back over one or 2 points and emphasise that if we played the way we wanted to play, it was good, but if we didn't, even if we won, there's room for improvement.
In a perfect world, how far can the team go this year?
I don't know, Sarah, to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and put any limitations on where we can go, but what I know is that Essendon supporters should be very happy that they've got a group who want to work hard, very passionate about being successful, and have put in a fantastic pre-season. So, whether that gets us in the finals, whether it doesn't, obviously I'd be very disappointed if we don't make the finals, and so would our players. And hopefully we'll be up there challenging for, to be recognised as a good side. You know
from personal experience the pain of losing grand finals and what that can do to motivate the team for following years. Do you believe that it can be carried through and they can learn really valuable lessons from that?
There's a little bit of pain that comes with losing a final, but if you're not a motivated person and the game didn't mean enough to you anyway before then, I think it's a bit irrelevant. Our players, I'd say less pain by losing a final, more excited about if they train hard, they learn the game properly, and physically they prepare themselves what they can achieve, and that's what I'm feeling around the group at the moment. There's a lot of excitement about what's out there for us, and we've got a very close group, a group that loves to listen and learn and train hard, and that's exciting to be around.
Still to come on the Hangar, more from James Hird, an insider's account of a very different training technique, and the pin-up boys put on their game face for the cameras.
We've travelled about 10 kilometres from Windy Hill to Footscray City Gymnastics Centre, and this is our base. Then we come down here about once a week with the rehab guys, focusing on plyometrics and speed and change of direction. They come in here. It's basically a massive adult play centre, and yeah, we have some good fun whilst training hard. So Joe, how'd you go?
You saw it, Suki. It was terrible.
Joe apparently can only turn left, so it was a bit like Zoolander. So what we're trying to do, we're just looking at their confidence in the air. So obviously these guys spend a large amount of time in the air. We use lots of different shaped balls as well. So we use tennis balls, we use obviously a little American football, use soccer balls.
Yeah, I think all clubs are looking for something that's going to improve you, and if this is the thing that makes us that little 0.5% or 1% better, it's obviously a good thing, and it might eliminate a few injuries with blokes landing and jumping and things like that. So we're not saying that it's going to win us a flag, but hopefully if we do, I think everyone will be jumping on it. Yeah, real tough, that one. We haven't done that one before.
Yeah, the main thing with the trampoline is the load attenuation, because one of the things with the boys is they're tolerating eccentric load all the time, so running, jumping, landing, all those things. if we couldn't do any of this work like it's normally done if you're a track and field athlete on the track or on the grass, because they just break, and they really are quite sensitive. Like any change in their load really makes a big difference to how they feel. Things get tight. They're so finely tuned. They're like racehorses. It's very, very hard to do. So he's trying to do 4 forwards and then 2 backwards. And his left leg's his ACL leg.
Yeah, the more you do it, the better you get, and yeah, I find that it's really beneficial, especially for me coming back off a knee.
His knees before too.
Stretcher.
Yeah.
Stretcher's coming out.
They're going to the stretcher.
It's it lets me do some change direction sort of stuff and a lot of landing, which is good for coming back off that. Hopefully I can have a big impact sort of in the second half of the year.
It's good, different type of training and just working in different systems. You don't get the, I suppose, shock through the joints and things like that, which is good. And you're training to move faster. So it's a good alternate to some of the groundwork that we do. So pretty worthwhile. It's pretty hot in here as well, so good sweat up.
Well, James, Hal Hunter looks like a good athlete, but can he play footy?
Well, we hope so, and he certainly showed that in his under-18, the brief glimpses we had in his under-18 year last year. He had quite a significant hamstring injury last year, and we've picked him as a rookie, you know, and have spent a lot of time rehabilitating that hamstring. He's back into training now, and obviously by the gymnastics you can see he's a fantastic athlete, and he can play footy. So we're very excited, and we think if we can get his body right, we've picked up a bit of a rough diamond, which is good.
Modern training is very different, I imagine, to how you were training when you first joined Essendon in the very early 1990s. How has footy developed in that sense?
I just think there's so many more stimuluses that come into preparing a player. When we were training and playing, it was just about getting out the track and maybe doing a bit of running and an odd swim. But now with the gymnastics, the weights, or the Pilates, there's so many different stimuluses to get a player right and build up to a main training session, which you always used to feel is very important. It's still important. But there's a lot of other things that come into it. So
not as much circle work as back in your day?
No, I think if I introduce circle work again, other boys might get upset, but now and then we tend to throw in a few sheeds as old drills.
Now, the Bombers' first game of the season against North Melbourne, about 10 days away. Can you give us an insight into what the team might look like?
Yeah, look, I don't think the team will change a lot from the one we've been playing throughout the last 2 NAB Cup games. There'll be a couple of subtle changes there, but, you know, we're very happy with the last 2 weeks. I think North are in excellent form. We saw them against Carlton on Sunday and, you know, look very strong and good at what they're doing. So, you know, if we play to our ability and they play to their ability, it's going to be a fantastic game of football Saturday week. Michael Hurley kicked 5 goals on the weekend. Can we see him in the forward line or the back line? Hopefully up forward, yeah. I think we'd love the luxury of being able to play him up forward. And over the last sort of year or so, we've tried to put him there for as much time as we can because he's such a powerful weapon. And it's been fantastic that he's actually come into some form just before the season starts. And, yeah, I think he's looking like he's going to have a good year. And more importantly, the year beyond that and his contract that everyone is eagerly awaiting the news of. Can you give us anything there? Look, I think it's going to be close. You know, we've spoken to Michael a number of times and he's really keen to stay, and I think it's just a matter of he and his management working out the right kind of deal, and, you know, hopefully that happens before the season starts. But, yeah, Michael knows how much he means to us, and, you know, and we just hope he stays, which I'm sure he will. Jason Winderlich and Courtney Dempsey aren't the biggest names in the Bobbins lineup, but they're arguably 2 of the more important players because of the run they provide the side. Can you update us as to where they are heading into the season? Yeah, the run and speed and just their ability to use the ball. Both players are very smart footballers, and, you know, Courtney plays, you know, behind the ball, half-back line, and Jason on the ball or in the forward line, and we missed them terribly last year when they got injured, and they both started very well. So they've prepared very well. Courtney's probably a little bit ahead of Jason, and Jason may miss round 1, but will definitely play round 2. So just got a little bit sore after the Sydney game, but yeah, it'll be great to have some real speed, but also quality decision makers back in our team. Have you spoken to Dyson Heppel about the extra attention he's likely to get this year, and also, I suppose, the second-year blues, as people call it? Yeah, look, a little bit. We've had discussions to a certain extent about what we expect from Dyson, and, you know, we just expect Dyson to be a consistent performer for us. He had an excellent year last year, and we probably expected too much of him towards the end of the year because of what he produced. But we want him to consolidate. Doesn't have to, you know, get any better, let's say. Just consolidate on what he did last year and be a consistent performer for us. From a management point of view, how many games would you envisage Dustin Fletcher playing this year? Yeah, I think last year he played 18 or 19, and if we can get 18 games out of Dustin at the right time, you know, hopefully there's a couple of finals in there as well, that would be great. He's 38 or 37 years old, so he's definitely moving on in the world, but his pre-season's been the best that I've seen from him, and if we can get, you know, as I said, 18 games out of him, I think we've done well.
Your votes on the Essendon website decide the True Value Bomber of the Week. The first 3 pre-season nominations are Travis Collier and his early nomination for Worst Goal of the Year.
Yeah, that's not a great kick, is it? But it's all 6 points.
Paddy Ryder's 4 goals to get the Bombers across the line over Sydney.
And a good night at the office.
And Courtney Dempsey's explosive run off half-back after knee surgery.
Away. And it's caught behind there, Walsh. Dempsey.
Congratulations to Luke Ferguson, who correctly selected Courtney Dempsey as the inaugural TVB. He is now in the season-ending draw to win a 2-kilowatt solar system. See the Essendon website for full terms and conditions.
All right, here we go. Straight in here.
It is part of the life of an AFL footballer, I suppose. You've got to, I guess, help out where you can, and if media is something that has to be done, then I'm more than happy to do it, and I actually enjoy it. It's a bit of a giggle for me, I reckon. I'm a good country lad, so I suppose I'm not really used to it.
Hills, let your hands fall a little bit more. Just let your hands fall apart like that. No worries. Perfect.
Hills takes the limelight. He's got the nice bushy beard going, so Hills is looking good. They've got the old fake sweat happenings. He can grow a beard pretty damn quick, I think, so he's that's a couple of weeks of growth, I reckon. No, he's looking good. The beard looks all right. I don't mind it. I haven't seen him in the ring. I've seen him with Crowie, though, on the pads. He's a bit slow, but I reckon if you got hit by one of his bombs, it'd probably put you to the death, but yeah.
There you go. I see it's not as bad as I thought. All right, look in here, boys.
I suppose you just cop it from the boys at the footy club if they find a funny picture that comes up in the paper or in a magazine. If it's in the sports section of a paper or if it's to do with sport, then you're safe. But if you're in the confidential section or in the normal part of the paper, then yeah, you cop it, you'll get a big fine.
After the break, the final word from Herd on the Hangar, and a former Bomber great relives a goal-scoring blitz.
Gets around his opponent, now he gets out of the pocket, kicks, and he's kicked his 8th. Oh, the Buick's on fire!
Well, we've heard from the coach, we've heard from the captain, and now it's time to meet our newest rookie. Ladies and gentlemen, let's unveil our new co-major sponsor, Kia!
When was your rookie year? The first game you went and saw?
2009. Anzac Day.
Anzac Day when Essendon won.
First game would have been about 1970 at Waverley Park. 1949.
I think I was 10.
1953.
There's a good feeling about the club with new people aboard.
The co-major sponsor, Kia is here.
Go Bombers! Go Bombers!
Cummings roving, gives a handball off to Buick. Normally brilliant, he's kicked his 4th.
I'd like $1 every time I get asked the question about the 96 centenary game. V Geelong was my first game back from a knee reconstruction and happened to be my 150th game as well, and there was a bit of hoopla about it being a centenary game. It was actually a Tuesday or Wednesday night.
Cummings brilliantly, Buick's good in this situation, he'll wrap it up.
We come back from 20 odd points down and then ended up winning by 4 or 5 goals, and I was fortunate enough to kick 9 myself.
From 45 metres, kicks. He's kicked his second in 2 minutes.
We dressed up in the old gear. I remember we had to have the knickerbockers on. We had a picture taken before the game out on the ground, and we had hats on like they did in the old days, and we had different type of jumpers.
Now on a very tight angle. Kicks. Oh, the goal umpire hasn't moved again.
Well, Essendon was my life for the 13, 14 years I was there. I moved over from Perth when I was 19 or something like that. And it was a fantastic experience.
Into Buick, the danger man, gets around his opponent. Now he gets out of the pocket, kicks, and he's kicked his 8th. Oh, the Buick's on fire!
Since I finished playing, I went straight to the Gippsland Power, which are under-18 team in this competition, and I coached down there for 2 years. From there I went up to Darwin, worked at the Institute of Sport up there for 2 years. In 2005 I was fortunate to get a call from Dean Laidley, who was the coach at North Melbourne at that time, and I spent 5 really good years at North Melbourne as an assistant coach. And when Brad Scott came in, obviously the broom came through as well, and he got me fair and square, and so the opportunity came to be getting back involved in the under-18s. So, and that's where I am now with the Eastern Rangers, and thoroughly enjoying it.
And which is really important, that you put in that extra effort to try and see how far or what you can get out of yourself. So really happy about that.
Unfortunately, most of the boys I coach at the moment weren't around when it was on, so I get sick of telling them how good I was. So, but yeah, no, it was a good night.
And he's going for his 9th goal, his 5th goal in the last quarter. What a night for him. It's a fairy tale come true.
Well, James, the final segment on the Hangar each week is going to be looking at the general issues in football. So what do you make of Kevin Sheedy's return to the game, and what are you expecting from him in this first up game against Sydney?
I think it's great that Sheeds is back in the game. Obviously, my only coach for the 18 years that I was at the football club, and he was a fantastic coach and a fantastic person. He'll do a terrific job with those young players, and, you know, I think that as the year goes on, people will realise how good Kevin Sheedy is and how much football missed him.
He did miss a bit of football a few years there, so do you expect him to have adapted a little bit over those few years?
Yeah, I think we all grow and adapt, and I think he's got some good people around him with Mark Williams and other coaches, so there's no doubt he'll be leaning on them for some of the tactical nuances that have changed, but he's a smart enough man that he'll work that out very quickly.
And 5 men will be making their senior coaching debuts in round 1. You were in that position a year ago. Would you have any advice for those guys?
Enjoy it if you can, and yeah, just go with your instincts. I think it's a tough job, particularly that 2.5 hours in the box, you know, during the game. It's very hectic, but you know, if you can possibly enjoy it, do that.
Do you love it?
Oh, it's great. It's a great job. It's a very different job. The job for a 9 to 5 on a Monday through Friday is very different from what it is on a weekend. But there's so many different variances in it, and so many great people that you work with that it's a lot of fun. Is
it what you thought it would be?
A lot of it is, but game day, you can't prepare for what game day is like in the box. You can't prepare for getting the satisfaction out of getting young men to all gel together and do things together is a very satisfying job.
If the Bombers don't win the flag, who will?
I think you've got to look at Geelong, Collingwood, Hawthorn as the favourites, and you know they should be because of the way they played last year, and you know throw Carlton in there. I think everyone's talking about Fremantle, and rightly so. What will be the dominant game style do you think we'll see in 2012? It's no doubt contested football is still a massive part of the game, and being able to win your own ball, and the sides that control the stoppages, that are able to move the ball well into their forward line will win more games of football than not. And then if they can set up the ground properly to defend when they haven't got the ball, they'll be the good teams. Will we see footy through the corridor around the boundary, do you think? I think it'll be different. Different clubs will try different things. I mean, clubs will try the corridor if it's open, but they'll be a bit frightened to go down there if it's not open because of the consequence of turning the ball over. But if you leave the corridor open, there's enough good kicking teams out there that will hurt you. Do you think clubs can look at the model of Geelong and how they've been able to win premierships but in staggered years as a model for long-term success in terms of not dropping down the ladder but still being able to sustain that success at the top? Yeah, Geelong have done it very well, but it took Geelong a long time too. I mean, you talk to Mark Thompson, and he came in 2000, and 2007 was their first premiership. 2004, 5, 6 was when they made the final. So it probably took them 3 or 4 years to build the culture, build the players before they had an opportunity, and that sort of success doesn't come overnight. And the terrific football club, what they've done is idolised or modelled by every other club now, but it doesn't come overnight. Does Bombers Thompson's role with Essendon, does it change into this second year as you get more used to the job and he implements some things? A little bit. I think it evolves as it goes on. Definitely the first day was not the same as it is now, but working with Bomber is a pleasure. He's just such a great football person, but lets you go your own way a certain time, and if you make a mistake, he'll pull you back in. But you know, working with him's been fantastic.
Well, James, thank you very much for being our very first guest on The Hangar for 2012.
Thank you very much, Sarah, and it's a great show. And to all our members, or all our supporters who aren't members, please buy a membership at 1300 Go Bombers. We need you, because if we don't have you, we cannot become a great football club. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Next week, the countdown to the opening game of 2012 continues on The Hangar.
This has been a Fox Footy production.